I used to pray for times like these. We finally have ourselves some NHL news. Thank goodness. Sure, the guys that we're going to be talking about in today's video, they aren't the most amazing, out-of-this-world, fantastic players. I'll give you that. But it's something. We have three guys to talk about in today's commentary from the Maple Leafs, from the New York Islanders, and we also have some commentary on the Calgary Flames. Let's start out with the Toronto side of things, because the Maple Leafs have signed goaltender Dennis Hildeby earlier this morning. They announced today the hockey club has signed Dennis Hildeby to a 3-year contract extension. The deal is a 2-way contract for 25-26 and 26-27, followed by a 1-way contract in 27-28, carrying an AAV of $841,000. I had to pause up for a second and try to process that sentence on the fly. So the contract will be 2-way for the first 2 seasons, and then it'll be 1-way in 27-28, meaning that for the first 2 years of the deal, he'll get paid different amounts of money when he is in the NHL versus when he is in the AHL. In the 3rd season of the deal, he'll get the same amount of money, doesn't matter where he is, NHL or AHL. Hildeby, 24 years old, played in 30 regular season games with the the Marlies in the AHL during the 24-25 season, posting a 16-9-4 record with a .255 goals against, .908 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. He also appeared in 1 Calgary Cup playoff game with the Marlies. Hildeby started 6 games with the Maple Leafs in 24-25, posting a 3-3-0 record with a .333 goals against average and an .878 save percentage. That's a lot of threes. Look at that. 3-3-0 record, 333 goals against. In 73 career regular season AHL games at the Marlies, the Järfälla, Sweden native has a combined record of 37-21-11 with a .253 GAA, a .909 save percentage, and 6 shutouts. Hildeby has collected a 1-3 record in 5 career Calder Cup playoff games alongside a .325 goals against and an .895 save percentage. Hildeby was selected to represent Toronto with the North Division at the 24 and 25 AHL All-Star Classic. The 6'7", 224-pound goaltender was originally selected by Toronto in the 4th round, 122nd overall of the 2022 draft. So, folks, that is the Hildeby angle for you. If you take a look at his profile here, I mean, he's not fantastic, but he's essentially the number 3 in the Maple Leafs organization here. 24 years old, obviously, there is some more development to go on here, and he has been a reasonably stable AHL caliber guy since 2023. Hildeby got some NHL games the past season, and obviously coming in as backup territory. This is a guy who's really just being signed to be that position, to give that security in net. I mean, I don't really think anybody is expecting world-shattering play out of Dennis Hildeby, but he is one signing of 3. I was about to say 2. Yeah, technically 2, almost 3, that I wanted to talk about in this video here. Let's go over onto a tweet made by Steven Rosner on Twitter. He goes out there and talks about how the New York Islanders have signed Daniil Prokhorov to his 3-year entry-level contract. Rosner wrote about this in the Elmonters. Prokhorov had an NHL contract out clause in his 2-year 2-way KHL deal, but signing his ELC now allows him to leave Russia and play for Sarnia. To expand upon this, let's dive into, firstly, Daniil Prokhorov's Elite Prospects page. I didn't have this open beforehand. I probably should have. But he is one of the draft's most interesting prospects from 2025. 42nd overall guy, 18 years old, 6'6", 218, a right-wing left-handed forward who was born in 2007 from Krasnodar in Russia. Prokhorov plays the game like he's trying to leave a mark, literally. There is no player as violent and eager to throw huge hits. He sprints at opponents, seeing red the whole time, and looks to level them. His offense comes from battling off defenders behind the net to work his way around to the net front. And you can see here that Prokhorov in the most recent season in the MHL for MHK Dynamo St. Petersburg had 27 points in 43 games. Interestingly enough, he plays pretty clean, as he only has 14 penalty minutes in that sample, but he is a physical specimen, and a guy who, against Russian junior competition, was able to physically impose his dominance. This article from ProHockeyRumours.com goes out there and talks about how Prokhorov had himself a 2-year contract in Russia just last week, but he's already taking advantage of his baked-in NHL out clause. The Isles announced Tuesday they have signed their 2025 second rounder to his 3-year ELC. Stefan Rosner of NHL.com relays that the signing will precede a loan to the OHL Sarnia Sting, allowing him to play junior hockey stateside in his Draft +1 after the Sting selected him in the second round of this year's CHL import draft. It's more stability and more competitive environment for the 18-year-old, who likely wasn't ticketed for a full-time role in the KHL with Dynamo Moscow. He was instead expected to spend most of 25-26 with their junior club, so instead, he'll be able to play in his age group in a higher octane and more balanced league compared to Russia's MHL. Drafting Prokhorov was a bet on talent and ceiling. While not a well-rounded offensive threat by any means, he did tally 20 goals in 43 games for MHL's Dynamo St. Petersburg last year and plays a highly physical yet disciplined game. He's a bit of a developmental project and presumably won't be in the conversation for NHL ice time for a few years at least, especially not this season. Since he won't hit the 10-game mark, his ELC can slide to 26-27 before taking effect and potentially again until 27-28 if the same circumstances repeat themselves next year. So all in all, this is a pretty good contract signing. Prokhorov is a very interesting prospect the Islanders have in their system, and now they'll be able to keep a closer eye on him as he'll likely be able to use that NHL out clause to get some games in the OHL Sarnia Sting system. And finally, we have ourselves one more player that I wanted to talk about in this video commentary here. It comes to us in the form of David Pagnotta. There's still work to be done. They're not finalizing or finishing a deal yet, but I'm told the Calgary Flames are getting closer to a deal with RFA Connor Zary. Sounds like it may end up at 3 years. Now, when it comes to Zary and the Calgary Flames, we already made a video talking about this guy as a potential offer sheet target, and that was mostly fueled by the fact that he wasn't signed for quite a while in the summer so far. His contract expired at the end of this most recent season. He's 23 years old. He's from Saski, baby. 6 feet 179, a left-handed center winger. Zary, the most recent season, had 27 points in 54 games played, a slight decline from what he had done in his rookie campaign. Same amount of goals, but fewer assists. He had 34 points in 63 games to open up his NHL play. Has been a very productive AHL player, though. Connor Zary has been very talented the past few years after graduating from the Kamloops Blazers WHL organization. But because of his talent, because of his middle six offensive productivity and his projection, there was a lot of concern, I would say, among some fans. Hey, this guy's not signed. Why are they not bringing him back on? Is he going to re-sign? Who knows? Now it looks like he will. So all the ambiguity seems to be fading away here, courtesy of David Pagnotta. I'm a big fan of the way that Zary has developed over the past few years. I made the video talking about him being an offer sheet target, and that, of course, was seen as a pretty talk-worthy topic, I guess you could say. But it seems like he will be signing soon. That's some pretty good news, I'd say. If you're a fan of any of these three teams or players, let me know in the comment section below. How do you feel about Dennis Hildeby re-signing with the Maple Leafs? What are your thoughts on Daniil Prokhorov in the Islanders organization signing and Connor Zary supposedly getting a deal done with the Flames soon? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on and bye.